Long ago, on a small farm in a quiet valley, a farmer kept chickens. They were happy chickens. Every morning they woke up, ate their grain, scratched the same ground, and went back to sleep. Same thing, every day. But one morning, the farmer found something strange. Up on the hill behind his barn, sitting alone on a rock, was a large egg. He didn't know where it came from. He just knew it was cold and alone, and that didn't feel right. So he carried it down carefully, both hands, slow steps, and placed it under his oldest hen. She sat on it without asking any questions. That's just what good hens do. The egg hatched on a Tuesday. The chick that came out was different from the others, bigger, darker feathers, and her eyes, from the very first day, were always looking up at the sky. But she didn't know she was different. She had grown up in the yard. She ate what the chickens ate. She slept where they slept. She did everything they did. The other chickens called her Mara, and Mara believed with her whole heart that she was a chicken. She was actually a very good chicken. She always knew where the farmer dropped the morning grain. She always found the dry corner of the yard when it rained. She was reliable. She was steady. But sometimes she never told anyone this. She would walk to the edge of the yard and watch the eagles flying high above. They looked so free up there. No scratching, no pecking, no small worried steps. They just opened their wings, and the sky took them. Mara would watch until her neck hurt from looking up. Then she would shake her head and think quietly to herself, "That's not for me." Then she would go find some grain. Years went by. Mara grew big and strong, but she never noticed. The other chickens noticed, though. One afternoon, the farm dog came running into the yard, barking loudly. Every chicken ran, feathers flying, loud noise everywhere, every chicken except Mara. She just turned around and looked at the dog. The dog stopped. He stared at her. Then he turned around and walked away. The chickens talked about it for 3 days. Mara said nothing. She hadn't even thought about running. She didn't know why. Then one autumn morning, an old eagle landed on the fence post at the edge of the yard. He was very old, gray feathers, bright golden eyes, very still. He looked across the yard slowly. Then his eyes stopped on Mara. She looked back at him. Something about him felt familiar. She didn't know why. "You," the old eagle said, "do not belong here." Mara stepped back. "I was born here. You were placed here," he said quietly. "That is not the same thing." The yard went silent. "I am a chicken," Mara said firmly, but even as she said it, something felt strange, like a word you have said too many times and it stops making sense. The old eagle looked at her and asked one simple question. "Have you ever tried to fly?" Mara answered quickly. "Chickens don't fly." "No," he said calmly. "They don't." He said nothing more. He just let those words sit between them. That night, Mara could not sleep. She sat in the dark henhouse, listening to the other chickens breathing around her, thinking about that one question. Have you ever tried? She had not even once. She had watched eagles every single day of her life, and every single day she had told herself, "That is not for me." Before she had ever lifted a wing, before she had ever tried, she had decided who she was without ever really asking. Just before sunrise, she walked alone to the far corner of the yard. She spread her wings. They were huge. She had never noticed before. They had always been folded against her sides, tucked away, never used. She looked up at the sky. The sky looked back, and Mara jumped. Now, I will not lie to you. She did not fly perfectly the first time. She fell into the tall grass on the other side of the fence and sat there feeling very embarrassed. But she was outside the fence, and the air smelled different out here. She stood up. She spread her wings again, and she tried one more time. By the time the sun was fully up, Mara was in the air. Not perfectly, not smoothly, but she was flying, and from up there she could see the whole farm below her. The yard, the henhouse, the small patch of ground she had walked on every day for years. It looked so small. Not bad, not wrong, just small. and she understood something in that moment. The yard had not been a prison. The farmer was kind. The hens were her family. She had been safe and fed and cared for. But the real cage, the one that had held her the longest, was the story she believed about herself. She came back, of course. Every few days she would land on that same fence post, and the chickens would gather around her, and she would tell them what she had seen. The far mountains, the wide river, the way the whole valley looked beautiful and small from high above. Some chickens listened with wide, wondering eyes. Some walked away and went back to scratching the ground. That is how it has always been, and that is okay. Here is what I want you to remember from this story. Mara was not special because she was an eagle. She became remarkable the moment she tried. The moment she heard one simple question and could not let it go. Have you ever tried? Most of us have wings we have never opened. Not because someone stopped us, because we looked around, saw what everyone else was doing, and quietly decided, without ever really testing it, that flying was not for us. We called it being realistic, but sometimes what we call being realistic is just fear wearing a calm face. The farm is real. The safety is real. There is nothing wrong with it. But if something inside you keeps looking up, past the fence, past the rules, past what people say you can or cannot do, then maybe the most honest thing you can do is stop deciding the answer before you try the question. Open your wings. See what happens. The sky has been waiting for you for longer than you know. That is the end of the story. What you do next, that part belongs to you. If this story spoke to you, drop a comment below, like and share with friends and family, and I will see you in the next one.